guys, and welcome to another edition of Technoholik, where we get you addicted to technology every single week. And this week is super special because we have a review of the much awaited Android phone, probably the best Android phone ever. And I'm not going to do that by myself. With me are the guys, Varun and Sagar. And we have plenty more lined up on the show for you. And we gave you a preview of this phone last week. So while you guys guess which phone that is, take a look at what else is lined up on the show for you. This week on Techno, we get you all the best gadgets from Computex 2011 in Taipei. We also wrap up the news for you, HTC's new tablet and some details about Apple's new service. But up first, the best Android phone is here. In just a minute, we get you a complete review of this super phone. Okay, so if you guys haven't guessed it by now, let me break it down to you. We're going to give you a review of the Samsung Galaxy S2. It's beautiful, it's pretty, it's for 33,000 rupees, and I'm going to switch over to Varun now because I can just see that glee on his face when he got this phone.
So I've been playing around with it for almost a week now. It's a beautiful phone. I mean, the first thing that you notice instantly is this beautiful display, which is bright enough probably for you to be able to see even despite the glaring lights and everything else. So that's the cool part. I mean, it's just such an amazing display.
And this is a 4.3-inch Super AMOLED Plus and the biggest screen that any smartphone has now.
So 4.3 inches pretty much anyway is the biggest, unless you're talking about like almost semi-tablet form factors, which is the streak and everything else. So yes, it's probably the biggest display there is. But the thing is, and this first held this phone, you took it from my hand, is the sheer weight of the thing. I mean, you look at this phone and you'll think this will be one heavy phone. It's like feather. It's like a feather. It's literally floating in your hand.
I'm going to give this to Sagar now. I also thought this phone is super light when I held it. Sagar, your thoughts? Come on, you've got to admire the weight.
See, the weight is awesome. The only downside is that when this phone gets outdated, you can't use it as paperweight. Like mine, you can. But the cool part about this phone is the fact that the viewing angle of the AMOLED screen is awesome. I mean, even looking at it like this, I can see everything. All the information is very, very clear.
Now, as we had said last week, spec to spec, this is also a dual-core phone. So compared to the LG Optimus 2X, we know that the specs are better, but is it actually worth it?
This has got 400 total megahertz on the Optimus 2X. This is a 1.2 gigahertz dual core as compared to that being a 1 gigahertz dual core. So 400 megahertz, 200 per core, it's got better. This has got 1 GB of RAM, that's got 512 MB of RAM.
Right.
So as far as RAM is concerned, that's a massive improvement. And especially if you're running multiple applications on a phone, and with a dual core, I mean, what else are you going to do? You're going to run 10 applications in the background. I think I have currently about 17 applications running parallelly on the phone. Some of them background applications, all your sync, your email, this, that, Twitter, Facebook, all the things just streaming into the phone. And the best part is that they're all alive in the background. You're not switching to them, they're not becoming active when you switch to them, they're actually alive.
Now this phone, the first question is, do you feel a difference as soon as you're holding this phone? Is it different from the earlier phones? Is it faster?
Significantly faster. So the first thing is that everything feels just that little bit more instant. You know, it's just, you click on something, it just comes up that much faster, okay? You click on something, it just opens up that much faster. Firefox is a pretty heavy app on Android. I mean, if you open Firefox on any other phone, it typically takes about 4 to 5 seconds to open up. On this, it's less than a second. That's a testament to the RAM, a testament to the fact that it has very fast integrated storage built into the phone. This is 16 GB built in, and you can add up to 32 GB more with micro SD. Gingerbread is even more optimized, even slicker. In general, even on a single core phone, I've found Gingerbread to be significantly smoother. And on this, it just blows up the phone, literally. I mean, quite a lot of people I've heard this from say that Android does not feel as responsive as iOS. It doesn't feel as well gelled in, as well put together. Well, this is actually better than iOS in every single aspect, okay? I've used an iPhone 4 and this side by side. Everything just opens up significantly faster on this.
I know we saw the LG Optimus 2X last week. You were very high on dual-core technology, but you were still saying there are not apps enough built for it. And that's why probably I wouldn't buy the LG Optimus 2X now. But what this phone has to offer, are you completely sold on it? Dual core technology is the way to go now?
Dual core technology is the way to go now. I spent not more than 10 minutes on that phone, but everything moves so much faster. It's so fast. I mean, I used to think that the iOS is the fastest operating system, but
It still is.
This is, this is iOS on steroids. I mean, this is so fast that it will put any 100 meters runner to shame.
Now let's get to media. Camera, 8 megapixels. We've seen 8 megapixels.
at the back.
8 megapixels at the back.
2 megapixel in the front-facing camera. And I've clicked quite a lot of pictures with this in dark places, in fairly well bright places and everything else. It just seems to outperform every single mobile camera that I've seen till now, except probably the 12 megapixel on the Nokia. And it does 1080p 30 frames per second video. So that's the awesome part. You'll really need to get large micro SD cards because it fills up really
fast.
It fills up very, very fast. So the other thing is, quite a lot of people have been saying that, oh, this phone does not have
an HDMI out.
So it actually does, but it does not. So it's a bit strange from that perspective. You see, just a micro USB slot here. Okay. Now there's a technology called MHL, Mobile High Definition Link, and MHL is actually compatible to HDMI 1.4.
Right.
So any HDMI 1.4 capable TV should be able to take an output from this.
Anything else? You have to explain what HDMI 1.4 actually means.
So HDMI 1.4 is a spec that typically goes for all the 3D TVs. HDMI 1.4 is basically a spec that added support for 3D videos, support for compressed video, and all sorts of other stuff.
So if me and Sagar had to connect this phone to our normal LCDs, we can't do it now.
You can't do it to a normal old style LCD.
Right.
You'll need a new 3D capable LCD, or at least one of the recent ones which have HDMI 1.4 but may not have 3D technology.
So if I've bought a TV maybe let's say 1 year back, then I'm good. But if
not even 1 year back, 6 months back.
6 months back, then I'm good. Otherwise, go and buy a new TV.
Yes. Yes.
With a brand new phone comes a new TV.
It's not completely HDMI compatible, but the latest ones should work perfectly fine. That's not a problem at all.
How much is the lack of an HDMI out for people who want to buy the phone now?
So
is it going to be that much of a causing factor?
I've had a phone with an HDMI out for the last 1 year.
And you've never used it?
Connected it once. So I don't think that's a very practical use. I mean, you really don't want to connect your phone unless you're doing presentations and everything else, for which you might use a tablet.
Is there a competitor?
No, it beats the competition. It just blows the competition away. I think the only real competitor to this phone is the iPhone 4. But I think this one is faster, bigger screen, and I think a new buyer who's going to go in and has 32 grand spare, 33 grand spare, I think is going to put his money on this phone.
So I still think till the iPhone 5 comes out, and even then it would have to contain a 4-inch screen, which I highly doubt Apple would do, 4-inch or a larger screen. There's really no other phone that I would want to buy but this.
But now this question goes to Radhika, because Radhika loves her iPhone, and well, too much, as everybody on the show knows. Would you change your phone?
I love the phone, the screen, everything, spec to spec. It's a good phone. Just somehow find a way to put iOS on it, and I'll pay 50 grand for the phone. But for now, I just can't warm up to Android still.
On this show, Radhika has made a claim she's willing to pay 50 grand.
If you put iOS on it, I will pay 50 grand. Okay, let's do final verdict on the phone.
Yep.
I'm guessing everyone's a yes, but just for sake, we'll just ask. Yes or no on the phone?
Super buy.
Alright,
I
Varun?
already bought it.
So he's obviously a super buy. I'm also a
It's
buy.
not anybody else's, it's mine.
I'm also a buy on the phone for 33,000 rupees. It makes perfect sense to buy this phone if you're an Android fan or not. I'm not in the race at all because I just don't like the way Android is. But you guys seriously have to think about starting to convert to Android now, because that is a serious contender. And with that, we're at the end of this segment. The Samsung Galaxy S2 is as much as we can talk about right now. In the next segment, we have News of the Week. And of course, all the latest from Computex in typing.